If you're a fan of the arts, we have a great segment for you today. The gang over at Possum Point Players, they've got another banger of a cast, a banger of a show coming your way. One you probably heard of before, Little Women. And in today, we have Devin Lynch, the director, and Abby Ruark, one of the actors. Devin, let's start with you.
Yeah.
This is coming up. It's a show people know. It's a story people know.
Yeah.
What is it like when you're taking on a subject matter that is a little bit well known versus maybe a story that most people don't know?
Well, there's an element of like daunting just because there's an expectation, but there's also, because we've seen so many iterations of this classic American tale by Louisa May Alcott, it almost gives you a little bit more freeness just in adapting and in interpreting it. And that's been the really fun thing, is finding like a concept that feels right for us and right for the group that we have, but also sort of breathes new life into something we know so well. You know what I mean?
And that's from the director's side. So now let's, same situation, but from the actor's side, what is it like going into this? What did you bring into this character to be on stage?
Yes. I think there's so much relatability within the story itself. There's the four sisters, and they all have completely different personalities, so I think everyone can relate to them in some way. Personally, for me, I know Jo, the character I play, is very fiery. She experiences every emotion at a very heightened rate. Personally, I don't. I'm more low-key about things, but I think...
She's chill.
I think that's been like a cool learning thing to bring to the table, of giving Jo a little bit more softness than I think. It's not so much playing a character, but bringing myself into it, which I really like to do. So
I always think it's interesting because if you're somebody that isn't as familiar with the acting world, people really don't always have the ability to separate that. I think it's fascinating that you are more chill and laid back and you're playing a fiery character.
Yeah.
yes.
What was the most challenging part of putting yourself in that mindset?
The most challenging part is really portraying something like anger. I think I don't feel anger very much as Abby, but Jo feels anger very passionately.
Jo's got some thoughts on some things.
At times, yes, she does. But we learned a technique that Devin taught us called Rasa boxes, and it's using your breath to portray those emotions. So instead of pulling from a personal experience that you may or may not have, so using your breath to portray anger or like something like sadness or even joy and wonder is something that he taught us that I've really been using.
Now, do you have any siblings?
I do. I have 4 siblings.
So you have something to draw off of there,
Yes.
at least in dynamics
A little
of the
bit,
household.
yes. I'm kind of, me and my brother are the closest siblings can get, so we never really fought as kids. But he was always been my protector, so that was something that I had to, and I don't, I only have one sister, and she's quite a bit younger than me, so it's not the same, but it is similar. Like, I do have that sibling kind of experience in the past where I can kind of draw from a little bit, yes.
Now, going back to the story, or going back to the play itself and how you guys are going to run through this, what is this week leading up to when you guys go live like? What are the most challenging aspects as you get ready before that big curtain opens?
Yeah, it's high stress tech week, and this is a musical adaptation of Little Women too. So we have to fold in all of the tracks. We have to fold in sound, lights, costumes. Make sure transitions and quick changes are happening in like a good, timely pace, just so we're not breaking anything. And we want to take a lot of care of how we present it. But it's a lot of people, volunteers, just sort of behind the scenes and putting hours and hours of work in and not much sleep to make sure we offer exactly to make sure we offer the best product we possibly can. You know.
So what draws you to being a director? What makes you want to do that sort of a thing?
I actually started as an actor. This is my first like big main stage directing debut, and I feel like because of that I can sort of enter it from a different place. I can already sort of imagine how I would interpret the text, and so I'm thinking about it in a different way logistically. But I also feel like because of my experience as an actor, I can step back from it and really like see, okay, does this make sense? Like, would this person be doing this in this moment? So it's interesting that my experience there has sort of shaped my experience in entering this completely new position where I'm sort of like eyes are on everything, and I have to think about it all and how it's working in conversation with each other. But yeah.
Well, since you're the director on this one, I want you to sell us a little bit about why should folks here in town come out and see this play, and then give us all the information about where to go to see it.
Absolutely. So Little Women obviously is a timeless classic. It sort of tackles this fight between I love these people, but I also have these crazy huge dreams, and especially for a woman in the mid 19th century, like that, with the every odd is stacked against her. Jo has sort of become notorious for being this pioneering. She's a writer. She has these huge hopes and dreams, but she's also tackling, what does my pursuit of this thing mean for my connections? How can I keep nourishing these things? Will I lose them if I really go for this thing that feels impossible? And I feel like that's a story that so many people, especially women, can relate to. But we're going for like a very whimsical, abstract kind of take on Little Women. And if you're interested in the story at all, I do. And even if you're just a sister or a brother or a mother.
Somebody in the world. I feel like it connects to a lot of people. This story has a little bit of something for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're interested in getting tickets, they're selling very fast. We had to add a matinee on our second weekend. They open on April 4th, run Friday, Saturday, Sunday, with a matinee on Sundays. And then we added a matinee on the following Saturday, the 12th. So we run 11th, 12th, 13th. And you can get tickets at possumpointplayers.org, but get them fast because they are selling fast.
So guys, thank you so much for coming in.
You.
If you're trying to get tickets, you're going to want to get them fast. As Devin was just talking about, they are moving. But it's a great venue to go see a play. The crew over at Possum Point Players always do a fantastic job. We're going to take a break now, but don't go anywhere. There's more Coast Life right after the break.